The title reads, Found out my girlfriend's body count is higher than she said before. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good for this guy. Before I start, Merry Christmas all and Happy New Year. If you have found this video, welcome. Today's story is from a 22-year-old male. He says, I have recently found out after 6 months of dating that my girlfriend, who's 21, has a much higher body count than she said before. Well, firstly, it's very likely that the girl you're dating or in a relationship with does have a higher body count because it is easier for women to find sexual partners because men are horny dogs. And for most men, any hole's a goal, which isn't a nice saying, but let's be honest, guys, it is kind of true. So it's not surprising that your girl probably has a bigger body count than yourself, but if she lies about it, then that's arguably even more of an issue than the number itself. So he says, we've been dating for a while and everything has been good. But when I first asked her about this, she told me 12 people. So yeah, you might be dating a girl, everything's going well, sunshine and rainbows. But then as a guy, you start to want to ask the more serious questions to make sure if a girl is valuable long term to you. And I guess for a lot of guys, what her past experiences are sexually is of an interest to us when it comes to deciding if you want to date her long term. But sometimes these questions you just think maybe just bury your head in the sand and never ask a girl these questions for multiple reasons. Firstly, you're going to be upset by what she says, and secondly, she's probably not going to tell you the truth. Like, she's going to maybe not count certain men because it wasn't a good experience, or they weren't attractive enough, or she was drunk. So, I think the saying is when a girl gives you her body count, times it by three. Maybe that's a bit drastic. Maybe times it by two, or adds five or six more guys. But yeah, I doubt you're ever going to get the true number from your woman. But hey, this guy asked, it was important to him. She said 12 people. For a lot of guys, that's going to be way too much. But that's probably the average. So, wait, she's 21. So 12 people is quite a lot for a 21-year-old. I kind of view it as, let's say a girl's been sexually active since the age of 18. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. If she's going on 5+ dates a year, maybe two of those dates end up sleeping with that person. So maybe two people a year. Two times by three is six people possibly. This girl has had 12. So yeah, it's quite drastic. It's quite a lot, and it doesn't sound like she's had a long-term relationship yet. But anyways, beside the point, she said 12 people, and later on he found out it's much more than that. So let's continue what this guy has to say. Even that was quite high, and I couldn't get it out of my head for a while. Yeah, that is pretty high again for a 21-year-old. Arguably, that's very high end of. I don't think many men even reach double digits, do they? Especially if they're relationship people and they get into a relationship at an early age. Yeah, you're not going to get that high of a number, are you? Especially at the age of 21. Recently, after been out drinking, we know this is going to end. He was out drinking with her. It came up again. I'm guessing this guy obviously brought it up because it's still on his mind, and especially after a couple of JD Cokes, you're going to bring it up again. And she told me it's actually around 30. Oof. I'm going to have a sip of my drink while I just stew on that. Because, yeah, that's a double jump. It's gone from 12 people to 30 people. Speaking of JD and Coke, it is New Year's Eve. We'll be going out for a meal with the lady later, and I thought I'd just have a couple of rum and Cokes to start off the night. Not going too crazy because we're a bit too grown up to be going out partying, and it's just too cold out there in the UK. So they had a couple of drinks, and it actually came out that she has actually slept with around 30 people. But again, she's drinking too. She might be telling you the truth, but again, she might be underestimating. And she said around as well. So she hasn't kept a a clear, detailed count of how many guys she slept with. So it could be 30, could be 40, could be 50. We don't know. Anyways, at the age of 21, she slept with 30 people. Women will say her body, her choice, which is completely valid. Doesn't make her a bad person, doesn't make her undateable. But allowing 30 men, arguably a lot of them are going to be strangers. She obviously doesn't know these guys too well because that's a lot of people at the age of 21. It just tells you a bit about her values and what she thinks of sex and the respect she has for her body, and just giving it up like that. There's no getting around that. You know, you can be as liberal as you want about this. It's a bit icky. Even for the most liberal men who are in support of women and equality, even for them they'll be like, whoa, that's quite a lot. He says, I feel like the relationship is going really well, but things like this are making me crazy inside. Yeah. Like I said, she could be a great woman. But when you find out about this, and when you look into her eyes, and when you're sleeping next to her, and you're thinking about your future with her, to know that 30 guys have already planted their flag without, from the sounds of it, any commitment or relationship, it's going to make you feel a bit icky. It just is. We can try and work around the subject, but it's just in our male biology just to be a bit, ooh, that's how we feel about it. But again, doesn't make her a bad girlfriend, but they have said, what's that? That's I think it's a Teachman study. You know, the more guys a woman's been with sexually, the less likely she'll feel fulfilled in a long-term relationship. I think the numbers are crazy. Even after sleeping with 2 other men, her likelihood of being happy in a long-term relationship decreases drastically. It's very unlikely you're going to find a virgin in this modern dating marketplace. But if you're going to be dating a girl, maybe she's had like 3 relationships, long-term relationships, and she's been committed to those men in those relationships and hasn't just had sex with random strangers at clubs, then I think you could probably let that slide and maybe you can have a long, healthy relationship. But yeah, again, I keep looking at that number 30. That's pretty wild. I think that's wild even if a woman was in her later years. But anyways, beside the point, there have been studies that the more guys a woman slept with, the more difficult it is for them to pair bond long term. That's just the facts. He says, does that feeling go, or is it something I should deal with, or should I just end things with her? Well, yeah, if it's eating you up inside, you just can't get over it, you look at her in a different way, then yeah, you should probably end it. Not just for your own benefit, but for her benefit. Let her find someone who's going to accept that. Most men won't accept that, but you know, that's her life decisions, and she needs to accept the consequences of that. Just like when guys make decisions, they need to accept those consequences too. But no, don't feel like you're crazy for feeling this way. It's completely natural. But if she's great in every other area of life and she's a good woman, you're having a good relationship, maybe just sit on it, see how you feel in a couple of months, see if she slips up in any regard, but you're completely valid to feel the way you're feeling, brother. Completely understand it. Nearly at the end of this, he says, I feel like I'm the last person to know it was this high, as many people I've talked to seem to have some idea. It makes me feel even worse about it. Oof. I think that I need another sip of rum and coke to digest that. Because if everybody, I'm guessing this girl is maybe part of like a friendship group he's in. If all the guys and the girls know that your woman used to do these crazy things and slept with multiple people, possibly sleeping with guys within the friendship group, yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want people to know that your woman used to be the town bicycle. If I can get my words out. Wow, I had 2 sips of rum and coke. It's already getting to my head. Yeah, I'm definitely getting old. But yes, it's not a nice feeling. You don't want people to view your girl in that way, and they're going to start judging you as well. Social proof is very important, especially for women. Not as much for men, but it's still important for us. He ends it by saying, sorry if this is the wrong stuff to talk about this, as I didn't know where to post. yeah, I don't really know what more there is to say on it. It depends on the guy and what he has as boundaries. For me, that's just way too much. The issue is, yeah, if you are in the modern dating marketplace, you're not going to find a virgin. You're not going to find a woman. Well, it's unlikely you're going to find a woman who has a body count under 5, especially if you're dating women in their 20s, unless she was very religious, unless she wanted to wait until she found a real connection with a guy, or she's been in multiple long-term relationships. But women, I think women like sex more than men. I'm going to say it right here. Like, honestly, if you're a very attractive guy and you're playing your cards right, a woman's going to want to be jumping your bones more than you want to be jumping her. It honestly, it's true, guys. Once you experience it, it's crazy. So to expect a woman just to be celibate until she finds you, it's unrealistic expectations. But what isn't unrealistic expectations is finding a girl who doesn't have 30 bodies in the wardrobe. That's a crazy number. I completely understand why you're feeling a bit uneasy about it, and arguably, I think that's grounds for a breakup. And I'm actually forgetting this. She actually lied about it as well. She lied to his face very early on. So what else is she lying about? You cannot have a committed, long-term, loving relationship with someone who lies just so freely. So what else is she lying about? Anyway, that's some food for thought there. Thanks for popping by, and yeah, cheers, guys.